I now ask unanimous consent that at 1:30 p.m. today, the Senate proceed to the consideration of S-3664, which is a bill regarding debt limit increases, the text of which is at the desk, that there be no amendments in order to the bill, that there be up to 10 minutes of debate equally divided between the two leaders or the designees, that upon the use or yielding back of that time, the bill be read a third time, the Senate proceed to passage of S-3664.
Is there objection to the original request?
Yeah, object.
Objection is heard.
Madam President, what just transpired deserves a word. Senator McConnell came to the floor this morning and offered a change in law that would help us avoid the kind of obstruction and the kind of showdowns that we've had in the past over the debt ceiling. In fact, the idea was not new. It was his original idea that has been the law of the land and followed. And he offered and challenged Senator Reid to bring this matter for consideration in the Senate. Senator Reid just agreed to. Said he would bring this for a vote in 20 minutes. And we would decide up or down whether the debt ceiling problem would be resolved once and for all under Senator McConnell's proposal. And then Senator McConnell objected saying, no, we need 60 votes. For those who don't follow the Senate, 60 votes is the equivalent of a filibuster vote, breaking a filibuster vote. So this may be a moment in Senate history when a senator made a proposal and when given an opportunity for a vote on that proposal, filibustered his own proposal. I think we have now reached a new spot in the history of the Senate we've never seen before. I'm going to ask the parliamentarian to really look into this. I don't think this has ever happened before, but it really calls into question whether or not this was the kind of offer that one would consider to be good faith. If Senator Reid offered a vote on it and Senator McConnell said no, it has to be 60, it has to be filibuster-proof vote. I yield the floor.
I would ask my colleague to yield for a question. Distinguished Majority Floor Leader, is it also correct that basically if we had voted, we would have guaranteed that we would not place the country again in a situation of defaulting on our bills? We would send a message that we can work together, that the fact that we were willing to accept the Republican leaders' proposal and be willing to send a message that as a Senate, that we want to make sure we have fiscal stability, that we're paying our bills, that this could be one step forward in making sure we can resolve the fiscal issues for the country. And isn't that your isn't that your view of this as well, that in fact it would be an important message about stability? And I also have to say I share your amazement that the leader would in fact object to his own proposal and now be filibustering his own proposal that we were willing to accept as a bipartisan good faith effort for the country. Didn't he really just take us in the wrong direction?
In response to the senator from Michigan, the Republican Senate leader, Senator McConnell, has such a strong appetite for the filibuster that we've seen 386 or 7 filibusters in the last 6 years, and now he's decided another good idea is to propose a bill and then filibuster your own bill. I do believe that's history in the making. But that's why this appetite for the filibuster in the Senate has to change. What an abuse that we cannot have a majority vote on something the Republicans proposed and the Democrats were prepared to vote for. This would have been a true bipartisan measure. Good news, maybe lead the news across America. And it really is unfortunate.
Madam President, we saw what happened here. The minority leader filibustering his own bill. He should have trusted his first instincts. Imagine if we would have passed the minority leader's resolution. The markets would have been jubilant. Stocks would have gone up. One of the great specters hanging over our economy, that we wouldn't raise the debt ceiling, would have greatly mitigated in terms of damage and danger. And we could move on to the real issues of dealing with the fiscal cliff and dealing with our debt situation and not have a debt ceiling hanging out there as a diversionary but dangerous issue. But for some reason, inexplicable, the minority leader, the Republican leader, changed his mind. Now, he said on the floor, well, important measures deserve 60 votes. But when he brought it up earlier, he acted as if he was in favor of it. He was offering it. And now, of course, he is saying, no, he's going to object to his own resolution. I wish he would reconsider. Again, using the debt ceiling as leverage, using the debt ceiling as a threat, using the debt ceiling as a way to achieve a different agenda is dangerous. It's playing with fire. And yet, with the opportunity to take that off the table, reassure the markets, the minority leader blinked. I don't know why. It's hard to figure out the strategy that he's employing, but we would hope on this side of the aisle, and I think I speak for all of us, that he would reconsider and perhaps early next week let us vote on his own resolution.